Breaira Barksdale is a basketball player, one. At 31 plus, I'm still hooping, but I've transitioned now to a more commissioner's role, where I'm pouring everything that I've once played and learned from the game to those that's coming after me. So it's important for me to basically pour into this grassroots sports in Baltimore and pouring into the college girls, where I'm promoting my women's summer league with the BWI league in the summer. So I would say that I'm a hooper first, a commissioner second. Okay, so I actually have a nonprofit called the Girls Getting Better Foundation, and through my nonprofit, I have curated two big events that I would say. I have the middle school league, grassroots league called City Girl Hoops, where I have officially 8 teams from across Baltimore City Public Schools that I am basically, I've curated a middle school league for these girls to showcase their talents and gain as much exposure as possible. This was important to me to kind of curate this league because of my experience in middle school. I would like to say I went to the best middle school in the world. I also went to the best high school in the world, and I would say I've been very fortunate enough to attend both of those institutions. Golden Ring Middle School was very important to me because that's where I met some of my lifelong friends, and that's where I was able to break out as my own basketball player just at 13, and kind of like developing my own journey on where I wanted to go and who I wanted to be on and off the court. Golden Ring was a powerhouse school, middle school, right? We had some of the most prominent players come out of Golden Ring. Will Barton, Josh Selby, CJ Fair, Antonio Barton, myself. We had another girl, Akima Richards. She went off to play at Western. She was pretty good as well. And I think we kind of just built on that over the years. Just, being able to be role models in the city and then go to transition to the high school realm and kind of have our own identity individually. Individually, we all were successful, and I think those experiences helped us grow as basketball players, but as we're all grown, we all are now reaching back in our communities and making the basketball space on a grassroots level just like a dominant space, and just organizing for kids to have a great experience growing up and learning the game of basketball. I think it's important because I think that everybody deserves an opportunity to get better, and that's what Girls Getting Better is. We want to basically give girls the opportunity to fail and succeed. Through the grassroots program and through City Girls Hoops, I think we can identify the girls that are the elite athletes in the city and basically big them up. I think oftentimes we don't have any development going on for the grassroots. We just kind of, if you're elite or you're not. You're good or you're not. And I think that's not fair. I think girls should have the opportunity to grow within the game. I think they should have the opportunity to get better, and I think they should have the opportunity for somebody to pour into them as far as like skill and development. And when I was curating this middle school league, I already knew because I'm a basketball player, how this goes is like you want to recruit. So over the past maybe 2 years, I've been recruiting at a high level, and when I say that, I'm not recruiting to take anybody's players. For the record, I'm not trying to take anyone's players, but I'm recruiting in such a way as like, okay, this girl is at this school, she needs more exposure in the city. This girl at this school, she could use some more exposure in the city. And I think that if we expose the elites in the city, that will help us when we're going out of town and playing the elites on a national level, to be more nationally recognized on the women's side of grassroots sports, of being elite. If we continue to just have this AAU outlet, a lot of girls are going to fall behind. And I think the skill development piece through City Girl Hoops is going to allow a lot of girls to get exposure, experience, and skill development. I think it's also going to kind of help with camaraderie, confidence, identity. A lot of girls are missing these key components of character, of building character, and I think through basketball, that's how you learn, and that's why I curated City Girl Hoops. I mean, what matters to me most, even just with 8 teams, I'm able to impact, I can measure the impact that I'm having across the city, and that's what's the most important to me. A lot of stuff are happening off camera, a lot of stuff are happening behind the scenes, and it's positive things. Like, girls are really getting exposed to different schools. Like, just for example, I had my players go up and they had the opportunity to play against Rosedale Christian Academy, which was an opportunity that they probably would never get had my league not start, which also kind of triggers the next opportunity with them being exposed to a private school. So now we have girls that's going to this game, and they're getting to play in front of these private schools, and they're able to get an opportunity, a look, to potentially go to those schools. And that's what it's about. It's about exposing girls, getting them an experience, and allowing them to grow through the game of basketball. Yeah, I think it's influencing us a lot, even with the colors. I just talked about with the color scheme. You know, a lot of times when we are reaching out to these younger girls, a lot of people are thinking like, okay, if you play basketball, you're a certain type of way. But as we're seeing, even on the collegiate level with Angel Reese, girls and pretty girls are hooping, and they're good. So the narrative that if you play basketball, you want to be a boy, or if you play basketball, you are going to turn out a certain way, like, we are really like demolishing those barriers and those, I guess you was not insecurities, but what's another word I'm looking for? Basically those stereotypes, right? Because these girls are actually playing at the highest level in the middle school realm, and they are getting more than just coaching. They are developing as good teammates. They're developing academically, and they're developing with a sense of accountability. Like, to be a part of a team, you have to be held accountable, to be committed, to be a good person, to be a good teammate, to be respectful, and then that is now carrying outside of the court and into the classroom. It's carrying when I have parents calling me and they're like, Coach Bree, like, I am having some trouble with my kid, and they can actually, like, basically kind of use me as a mentor to kind of mentor their kid on what is actually going on with them mentally, emotionally, or physically, because we do have some kids sometimes that are having these emotional barriers where they do not know how to let out what they're actually feeling. And I think that through basketball, they're able to have an outlet. I have so many kids. I have like 3 kids that never play basketball a day in their life. One kid I had, she's a cheerleader, and I thought it was interesting that she was like, all right, I got to either cheer or play basketball. And she's like really mild-mannered kid from what I see, because I'm not in the classroom. And she chose basketball, and I thought that was interesting because she's one of my hardest working kids on my team. And I say that to say is because she was put in an environment where she was able to use basketball as an outlet, and now she actually is falling in love with the game, which is the impact that I feel like is most important. You know, getting the experience that you've never gotten before, and then actually being able to, you know, go through that experience with learning and growing, and then being able to be like, oh, I love this. There's a consequence. I can't do this because I did something else. I have a consequence, and this is going to be the consequence as far as me not being able to play. Oh, I'm trying to get myself together. So I think the impact off the court is phenomenal, just across the board. I also had a player at City Springs that was struggling from a behavior standpoint, and being able to go up to her and being like, hey, listen, you never know who's watching you. You never know who's going to walk in the gym. You never know who is going to be watching you as you walk to your car, because that's how it is at the collegiate level. When you are going to these AAU tournaments and sporting events and you have college coaches coming to watch you play, they're watching your every single move. How do you look on a bench if you're not playing in the game? Okay, how do you look when your teammate is falling down to the ground? Are you going to pick them up? Are you coachable? Can you follow directions? Can you be organized on the court? And all of those things go and tie in to just being a good basketball player and understanding the game both on and off the court. So my goal for the league was to get 8 teams. If I can just get 8, I would be able to show the rest of the city what we look like on a grassroots level, and I will be able to show these players off to these high school coaches. I will be able to build a bridge and a communication line between the middle school and the high school, because the communication line is so thin. People don't communicate. People are scared to communicate. Communication is uncomfortable. But as a leader, it's never been a tough thing for me. I love to communicate. I love to bring people together, and I feel like that was my main goal. Getting coaches, high school coaches, to come out and giving them a space where they can recruit. The college coaches have a space to recruit, right? They have this AAU RAM. They get teams to pay to go to these tournaments, and then they pay to be in the tournament to come watch, and then they're able to recruit, right? But I don't think that really makes sense to be trying to recruit 4th to 8th grade, because a high school basketball resume is still worth something. It still should be worth something, right? So it's like, all right, where do we go and see these middle school girls if they're not on the circuit, right? And it's just like, how can we get these high school games to be better games? Because it's just, that is a whole another conversation. But I do want to speak on that just a little bit. It's just like the high schools have took a huge hit because of COVID, right? Everybody know that. But it's like now we have to start holding ourselves accountable as coaches, as skill developers, to actually develop kids. It's no longer cool to attach yourself to a kid, right, just because of the development and the success you think they're going to bring to you, right? I think that people should be on the ground, developing kids and helping them reach their maximum potential. And once they reach their maximum potential, then you help them get into the schools that you think is going to push them to the next level. If I have a kid in middle school, like I have a kid, I would say, for example, who's a point guard at Beachfield. I personally don't think that she's on the radar of a Poly or a City or a Forest Park. But I do think that she's talented enough to go to a Baltimore City school and be effective, versus whether that's JV or varsity. But nobody knows who she is, right? Like nobody knows that Beachfield has a dope point guard, shifty, hardworking, a competitor, and I think that because of City Girl Hoops, we're able to expose her to basketball, to high school coaches, and being able to, and character building, because at the end of the day, she is very competitive and she needs some channeling to kind of like channel that energy into a positive energy, even when she's frustrated or when things are not going her way. But I feel like those are things that coaches teach us, like that. That's where your coach come into play and they say, okay, these are characteristics that I think that you should work on. because XYZ is not going to want you at their institution if that's how you act on and off the court. My goal for City Girl Hoops is to get the best teams, the most prepared teams, the opportunity to play and be exposed and get an experience. My goal is to have every team in the city be in the league, have uniforms, have transportation, and gain the same experience that Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, PG County, and all the surrounding regions in Maryland that are getting these resources. I want City Girl Hoops to get the same resources as everyone else so they can benefit from that, from these experiences that I'm putting together, and grow. Like, I just want the league to grow and for us to get the recognition, not me to get the recognition, but the girls to get the recognition that they deserve, and get the opportunities that they deserve at the high school level. The next thing I want to say is that it's about to start getting hot, and we all know when it gets hot, that means it's summertime. And summertime means that the BWI League is back, and we are in our third season, and I'm so excited because it's going to be an even doper season. We had 8 teams last year. I am looking for at least 10 to 12 teams this year. It's going to be lit. I'm excited. Get your teams together. Come out. Beat me. I want somebody to come in the league and beat my team, and because I'm going to recruit. I'm going to recruit every year. I'm going to recruit to get the best players. So I want y'all to go out and recruit and get the best players. From DC to Virginia to Baltimore to wherever you at, I want you to get your best squad and register for the BWI League because it's going to be lit, and it's just going to be an exciting time for basketball, and we just bringing the vibes back to the city, whether that's on the grassroots level, whether that's on the professional, semi-pro, collegiate level. We bringing the vibes back to the city, and we are unapologetically going to be balling all summer, and girls basketball is on the rise. We got one of the best players in the country from Baltimore, and she's unapologetically doing her thing at the highest level. And shout out to Angel Reese, because you are really putting on for Baltimore, and we really appreciate you, and we want to give you your flowers while you're here. And it's just gonna be lit. Like, don't miss it. Don't not be a part of it because you're just thinking about it too much. Get your squad, get them right, put them in a group chat, put them on the DM, get your squad together, and come to the BWI League and compete. We competing, we comrading, and is a community of women that want to see each other get better and want to compete, because that's who we all are. We're competitors, and I'm appreciative for Q. He's doing some amazing work in the community with One Motion Sports. So shout out to him, and that's a wrap.